Nowadays, I'm too cool for a girlfriend. Nowadays, I don't know when the world spins.
Alright everybody, what's happening? Jesse Ladner here once again. On this video, I got some tips on what to do when we are first turning on a computer. So let's get started. I'm going to turn on my Logitech wireless mouse. And this is, of course, this is a Dell Optiplex 780 computer that I have. For those who don't know about the story on how I got it, I had ordered it on Best Buy around, it was 2016. I think I got it the package came in, the computer came in on Groundhog Day of 2016, I believe. So, not a bad computer at all. It used to be Windows 7, but it's not that. I'll show you what operating system it is in just a moment. Inside here, or somewhere, I don't know which side it is, I forgot. It had a 8 gigabyte of RAM, but it's upgraded to a 10 gigabyte because, this computer, it takes up to 4 different RAM chips, or, 4 RAM chips. And I took, being that I had, so there's 3 gigs in there and 1 4 gig. 3 2 gigs and 1 4 gig. Because the reason why there's 1 4 gig, because it came from a computer that had broke down on another computer that broke down on me. Also, not to mention, it is running add-in graphics card, as you can see down there. I'll show that to you what graphics it is in just a moment. It's out of focus. That's typical. That graphics card is running off a DVI port. There is HDMI on it as well. There was VGA, but I had to take the bracket off because otherwise I wouldn't be able to close the side panel. Anyways, enough of that. We'll move on to the monitor here. It's a HP S2331. This is a monitor that my grandmother, or Momo as I call her, had when she got she had a custom built Windows XP computer, which is sitting somewhere in my room. So this monitor came with it. I've been using it ever since. This does have DVI or VGA. There's no HDMI on this monitor. And of course, I have my microphone system. It's for karaoke, but I have it hooked up to my computer in case I was, doing commentate. I had it here in case, let's say, for example, my nephew was over. We did a live stream together, and we could just use that. But if I'm by myself, I just use the microphone from my Turtle Beach headset. I also got a Logitech. I forgot the model of this exactly. I'll have to look into that later. Anyways, let's go ahead and turn on the computer. I'm not going to turn on this SATA IDE adapter. This was actually the hard drive that was from that broken down computer I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and turn it on. Here's the power. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to turn the monitor on. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, we got post. I apologize about that, everyone. And as you see, as usual, Windows 10. Because, of course, Windows 7 supports end up with Windows 7. So, and I heard to where it can lead up to malware and viruses. So that's why, definitely not rolling back to Windows 7, that's for sure. Now, as you can see, it is kind of slow. This is the tip I want to tell y'all right now. Listen closely when I say this. When you turn your computer on, you got to be smart about it and not start using it right away, because otherwise it's going to be really slow. My advice is let your computer warm up and idle. Let me enter my pin there. There we go. So yeah, just let your computer warm up and idle for at least 5, maybe 10 minutes. And then start using it. Because if you start using it right away, you're going to be... It's going to be running slow and whatnot. Just let it warm up and idle. And while we wait for that, you see it's got got some disk activity. And that light right there on the left is just Ethernet because it is running on Ethernet. So the computer and stuff is running to this RCA power strip. It's got that plug that's unplugged. It's running to that cordless phone because I forgot to plug it back up. The nephew was trying to plug his phone up or something. I forgot what exactly. And I unplugged the cordless phone. I forgot to plug it back up, so the phone's dead. Anyways, that RCA power strip, it's running down here. It's hooked up to this. Let me turn the flash on. There we go. It's a APC unit. It's a battery. It's a APC backup 650. There's 8 different outlets. You got 4 that are with battery backup and surge protection, and the one right there is surge protection only. So let me tell you some crazy stuff. There is an Ethernet filter on here, as well as a power chooch, and it's got a breaker. What is that? A breaker reset? What is that called? Circuit breaker. Excuse me. So there's an Ethernet network in and out, but let me tell you, when I had it hooked up, let me turn the flash off. This one light here was orange instead of white. Now, let's say I put the computers in sleep mode, or if it's shut down or in hibernate, for example, the light will go orange, regardless. This is a Netgear router, by the way. It's a, the YouTuber JK18 was asking what model this is. This is a really great product. It's a R6400 Feed 2. Yeah, Netgear makes some really great products, to be honest. You see some of the lights on here are dim because, well, this wasn't on. This wasn't on before, but now it is, as you see. See, this one didn't get enough light on it. You see how all this stuff's dim? Yeah. Anyways, it's running the Netgear router. Now, we have 2 different routers. The Ares TG862 is for landline or voice over IP use only, depending on how you call it. It used to be our internet router as well, but it's not anymore. So this one's for voice over IP use only. And this one here is a Hitron router. We used to use the wireless on this, but I got sick and tired of using the wireless on that because the Wi-Fi just kept dropping and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just typical. Our cable provider, it's just typical these days, because they say the router that you get from our cable provider is just the Wi-Fi is no good. Of course, it's got some activities because I'm currently not only because of the computer, but it's because I'm uploading a video on YouTube right now, which was that lawnmower and a trimmer update video I forgot to post on May 2nd. As you see there used to be a green phone line that came from an old DSL router, but the line was bad because back when we had the TG852, all those lights were just blinking like crazy. And I'm like, what the heck? And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. It turns out the phone line was bad. So that's why that red one was on there. Now, anyways, there's still some disk activity. Another tip is if your computer's kind of glitching or frozen, etc., you just want to, if your computer, some keyboards will have numlock, but if they don't, you can use caps locks. Like, either do that, or if your keyboard, see that, I don't know if you saw that or not, it just kind of reloaded itself there. If your keyboard doesn't have numlock, you can just use caps locks on and off. There's some extra. That's some disk activity. But again, that's my advice. Let it warm up and idle. And go here. We got a red flag warning. I just exposed my location. I apologize. Anyways, so that's my tip. Now, another tip I have: if your computer starts to another thing, if your computer starts to act up, as you see here, I created a desktop icon or copied and pasted it for this cleanup. And of course it went by quick. Let me tell you, this cleanup, it scans a whole lot quicker than what it did on Windows XP's XP, Vista, 7, 8, and 8.1. They would take a long time to scan, but for Windows 10 it scans like it never even happened. And anyways, you just check all that, hit OK. But and if it gives you an option but what drive to select, make sure it's on C, of course. Now we'll go down here. And being that I have a Dell computer, I installed. This didn't come pre-installed because makes sense. It's an Ultraflex 780. So, yeah, we'll just go here. I have Dell Support Assist. Service plan expired, which makes sense because this computer's is kind of old, if you will. And I normally just run these two to clean files and tune performance. I usually do that. So we'll do that here real quick. And when I got this computer, it was refurbished, by the way, because I don't know if I mentioned that already, but it's refurbished. It's got a different product key than what the original product key was, which makes sense because it was refurbished. So this computer, it was originally running Windows 7 Professional, but this one is Windows 10 Home, not Windows 10 Professional. Long story on why that is. So I'll run these two real quick. And it doesn't, of course, it doesn't need drivers or downloads because it's pretty much got all the drivers up to date. So, again, the Ultraflex 780 computer. It's kind of old, kind of not. I think the 780 came out like 2012 or so. I'm gonna have to. We'll do some research here in just a moment. As soon as this finishes, we'll search it up. Alright, wait for the skip to go away, and we're done with that. We can open Mozilla, or Firefox, excuse me, because nowadays it's called Firefox, not Mozilla Firefox. Just a moment here. Should be just a moment. Oh, it must have. Okay, so Firefox must have updated. That's good. Alright, so Firefox updated. Let's search. Oh yeah, by the way, hold on. Wait a minute. I know somebody had asked me what graphics this is. It's if I right click right there, it's as you see there, it's a AMD Radeon. I apologize if I don't pronounce that right. HD 5450. Anyways, I'm gonna try to. I want to see how old is the. Okay, so they had different. Wait a minute. Okay, so I lied. Apparently, I think looks like the 780 came out in 2010. So I lied about that. I got Ultraplex, Latitude. The Latitude is the laptops, I believe. So the 780. So there's your model years. 2009, 760, 960. 2010, 780, 980. And 2011, 790, 990. That's not bad. I thought this was a 2012 model, but apparently it's not. This is, of course, the Slim or SFF model, or the SFF, yeah. This is the SFF Slim Factor Series. SFF, is that what it stands for? I believe. Let me see. Hold on. Small form factor, excuse me. Yeah, so it's a small form factor. I can't speak, I'm sorry. As you see, the disc light is not lit as much, not solid lit. So again, we let it warm up in idle, so that's a good sign. That's just the right thing. It's the right thing to do, to be honest. Just let it warm up, idle, run disc cleanup if you have to, do num lock, cap locks, etc. And you should be good to go. So, again, I'll go to System and just, let's see, we can right click on the Start menu, go to System here. I'll show you the spec, try to show, why is that, hold on. What's going on? Oh, it's this is another thing I'm having trouble with. It keeps saying, see, I don't understand. It's saying last scan not available, but I've been scanning that for a while. Here's the specs for it. The processor is still an Intel Core TM, or Intel Core 2 Dual. It's running at 3 gigahertz. Oh, that's weird. I thought this was a little over 3 gigahertz, like 310. Maybe I'm thinking about a different computer. So it's running at 3 gigahertz. It's got 10 gig of RAM and whatnot, as you see at the bottom of your screen. I'm trying not to show the product ID and stuff, so I'll remove that. Or exit that, excuse me. And yeah, like I was saying, the scan, it keeps saying last scan not available, even though I've been scanning it, so I don't know if it's a Windows glitch or what. I would reload Windows 10 on it, but not worth it because it's going to be too much of a time. It's going to be a waste of time, and I have to reinstall the programs. But like I said, I'm not rolling this thing back to Windows 7. Although, get this, there was a built-in speaker to this computer, but for whatever reason it does not work on Windows 10. Yeah, it worked on Windows 7. There was a built-in speaker where you can play, like a regular speaker, if you will. It's built into that, but again, it doesn't work on Windows 10. Alright, well, that's pretty much it, everyone. Of course, I had the Lakers 24 in honor of Kobe Bryant. Again, this is the graphics again. Somebody had commented about it, and I can't find. I tried to reply back to their comment, but I can't find it. Their comment. I forgot what video they posted on. They commented on. Excuse me. And of course, again, the SATA IDE drive. I'm not going to turn that on this time. Only way I need to turn it on is if I'm playing some Steam games, like if I were playing either Smite, Gary's Mod, or Team Fortress 2, then I would turn that on. But I'm going to, now that that's all warmed up, I can start using it. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn or plug back in the cordless phone here. Oh. Anything? Goodness, that phone must have been long dead. Nothing? Let's see what that's about. There it goes. Probably just didn't get good connection. Right, I actually had to replace the battery out of this cordless phone because the battery was bad. Because the moment you try to charge it, that light would just go bright, dim, off, bright, dim, off. So that battery the old battery that was in there was bad. I just forgot to plug it back up because apparently I think what it is, my nephew was trying to hook his Nintendo Switch dock up to this, but he didn't know that this monitor did not have HDMI, so that's why it was unplugged. It might come back on in a moment. If it doesn't, then I'll come back and just take that out, put it back in again. I mean, that cordless phone is kind of old. It actually used to be my older sister's when she was living at a different location at the time. And it somehow ended up here. But again, the battery was bad, so I had to replace it. And it's just sitting there in case for backup purposes. Alright everyone, well I think I'm going to go ahead and end off the video here. Oh, some more disc activity, but that's okay, it's no big deal. And then later on, I might do some Roblox videos here later on. Let's turn this fan on while we're at it, because this computer's going to make this room so hot. I'm not putting it on high. But last time I put it on high, it was making too much. It was making too much noise for whatever reason, and it shakes like crazy when it's on high. So, oh, is it making that? Thought it was making that rubbing noise again. Rubbing. Anyways, that's on. This is not the original light fixture. Long story, what happened to that. And once I walk out this room, I'm going to turn the light off. I can't turn it off by the switch because it's hot wired with both the fan and the light. So, alright everyone, well thanks for watching. Hopefully later on, oh, one more thing. I forgot what, I need to see what webcam model this is. I'm going to open up Bandicam here real quick. So I can show you. I could have just gone to the device manager. Let me check for updates first. Okay, it's the latest one, so it's no big deal. Voice kind of cracked there. Okay, just as I figured, I just couldn't think exactly, but it's a Logitech HD webcam C525. I just couldn't remember exactly what the number was. And I'll just leave that on because the hard drive. Speaking of, I forgot. I don't think I mentioned this yet. I didn't even mention this at the beginning of the video. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive. It's got a 2 TB hard drive in there, which of course is greater than a terabyte. It's greater than a gigabyte. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's all working like it should. It's warmed up. And yeah. Alright, well I'm gonna jump off here now. Thanks for watching.
We ain't hesitating, bullies get the blazing. I'ma lay them down like